Welcome back to Working with Aptana for FMIS 2201. In this video, we're going to work with pictures because that's the last requirement in the exercise that we're doing. We're going to work with pictures and also learn a little bit of how to fit the pictures into the page. And if you learn how to do this, then basically you can work with all the pictures and all the other pages. So let's take a look at the our current template. Let's go back to public underscore HTML and double click on index to open it up in the browser. And we've looked at this already. We know that this image here is called Gardening 1, I think. There it is, Gardening 1. What's important to note here is the size of the image is 900 by 431 pixels. Okay, it's 900 pixels wide and it's 431 pixels tall. So remember that, note it down somewhere because we're going to try to fit our picture into this container. Now let's take a look at what I mean by containers here on the page. In this past week, we've learned a little bit about HTML, and one of the tags in HTML is the div tag. See this div stands for division. Now divs are essentially containers, just like the other tags are in a sense containers too. So a div is a special container because there's lots of things you can do with a div. You can name the div and then point to it and do stuff with it like style it and other things. And of course, we also learned about classes and ID. Excuse me. So we can name the divs with a class, like here, for example. This div has the name header. And this div has the ID called body. So this is a little different. Remember that IDs can only appear on the page once, whereas classes can appear on the page as many times as you need it to. So now, if we look at in Aptana, let's take a look at Aptana where this code is. We'll find it right here below our logo. It's in the, there it is, Gardening 1, right? And it's in a div. And this div is contains not just the image, the large picture, but it also contains a header, it contains a paragraph, and both the header and the paragraph is in another unnamed div. Okay, so there's like two containers right there, a div within a div. And what we need to do is we need to change this to our picture, and we have to make sure that the picture is 900 by 431. So let's take a look at a picture that I have here. I have a picture that I saved, this picture. Now it's a huge picture because I took this picture with a camera, so it's about 11 megabytes, and it's not a good idea to upload large pictures like this onto a web page. It's unnecessary, really. So what we need to do is we need to resize, size down this picture. That's one thing we need to do, and the second thing we need to do is we need to dimension it so that it's exactly about 900 by 431. So how do we do that? Well, we can use the Paint application in Windows, and you can also use on the Mac. You use the Preview application as well. So I'm going to open this in Paint. So right click and open it in Paint. Open with Paint. And as you can tell, because it's about 11 megabytes, it's pretty huge. And as I said earlier, you don't really need it to be that big. So the first thing we need to do is we need to resize it. Okay, notice that it's 3000 pixels by 2000 pixels, which is ridiculously huge. So let's resize it first of all. To do that, there's lots of things that you can do here. There's resize and skew, you can select and crop the image, which is what we're going to do next. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to resize the picture or the whole picture here. So image, let's click on resize. We won't skew it, that's not a good idea. And we're going to use pixels, and remember it's supposed to be 900 across, right? So let's give it a try and change this to 900 and maintain the aspect ratio, which means that don't skew it, right? So put this as 900, and what happens is we find out that our picture is a bit too tall, but it's okay. We can deal with that later. Right now I want the horizontal length to be 900 exactly, so I'm going to click on OK. And now we kind of be able to see the picture. There's me acting silly in front of a hobbit hole on the set of Lord of the Rings in New Zealand. So you'll have to excuse me for that. Anyway, I'm going to save this. So File, Save As. Right now I've saved it in my FMI22 folder. So I'm going to save this one in my image folder because I know that I now have the right, at least the horizontal size anyway. So save it into images, and I'm going to give it a different name. Just call it my pick. Keep it simple right now. Okay, and save. And now we need to crop it because we know it's exactly 900 across, but we need to have it at 431 pixels tall. So I'm going to crop this. And to crop, I'm going to click on the crop tool right here. And I think I'm going to maybe just slightly above my head right there. And whoa, that was not a good idea. Let's fix that again. I'm using a different, I need to use a brush. So I'm going to select first. That wasn't what I meant to do, so it was clicked in the wrong tool right there. So click on select, right? And well, actually, let's just undo that mistake there. There we go. Let's do that again. And as I move my cursor, you'll notice at the bottom there, the size is changing. Do you see that? Right about there. So I'm about 900 there, and I think I'm gonna make the 431 just about right. There we go, getting close, and that should do it. I'm gonna move this right there. Okay, now I can move this around. Right. And then I'm going to crop it. And there I've got my picture, which is about the right size. And now I can save it. Okay, and right now the size is 858 kilobytes, which is a lot less, than 11 megabytes. So that works really nicely for a website. So I can exit out of here, and all I have to do now is go back to my code in Aptana and change it to my pick. And there it is. I type mine, it finds it for me. And all I have to do is save it and check to make sure that it's showing up, and there it is. Of course, I can double check sometimes the preview in Aptana is kind of flaky, so it doesn't come out well. If that happens, double check using a browser. So just go into your browser. I think I already had it open up earlier. I can just refresh this, and my picture should appear. There it is. All right, your exercise is complete. Now you can upload and get your 10 points.